And we're back with another episode of Brew Your Mind After Dark, the podcast where we get to drink coffee and beer and you get to sit back and listen to us ramble about what's on our minds. I'm Justin.
Hey, what's going on? Justin, how are you, dude? You're talking so quiet.
Yeah, I know.
It must be really late there. It's
almost
not fun, is it? It's not fun.
My having the turntables turned.
Yeah, the turntables, man.
Yeah, nearly 1 a.m. over here in the UK, but
I forgot.
We're living the good life, and we're coming at you after dark, so who knows what will be said.
Well, you sound good now. And when you started off, it's so quiet. I was like, oh, man, is he going to be whispering the whole time?
Ooh, maybe I'll have to turn that up. But, yeah, here we are. We're recording on a late Saturday night for myself and a normal Saturday for Jesse.
Yeah.
What do you got for us? What do you want to start with?
Dude, it's like 3:30 right now, 3:30 p.m. Loving it.
Right in the middle of the day, man.
Back on the day shift, boys.
Yeah.
We're off that night shift life.
Before we dive into any of that, I just want to know what you're drinking right now. Tell the people what you're drinking.
All right, dude. Let me grab it. This is for... Tell you what I'm drinking. I'm going to show you if you get on the YouTube, okay? Mm-hmm. Get on that YouTube channel. It is Brew Your Mind Pod. All one word, just the same as the Instagram. Search it. Get on there. You look at our faces. You'll be listening. But I'm drinking this. I got some kind of wild-looking coffee.
Okay.
I got something different today. I got a Death Wish.
Oh.
That's what it's called.
The Death Wish coffee.
Death Wish Coffee Company. These guys are, they make it in New York. I don't know. It says it's extra caffeine warning, world's strongest coffee.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. It's pretty good.
Okay.
You know what? You got to put that oat milk in there.
You got to put that oat milk in it, my man.
You got to put that in there, man. So I've already been drinking it.
Okay.
Today, And
you like it?
I'll give you a nice little sip on this scissored.
Yeah, do it. Ooh.
Like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, man, it's good. I don't know. Set that off.
Love that.
To an 11. That's all
Woo.
I got, boys.
Woo. That's good. And also, you made that plug for the YouTube channel. Jesse also created a sub YouTube channel to go with that has our clips. So if you don't want to watch the full hour-length feature of our beautiful faces, you can check out that channel as well. And you have the name of that off the top of your head, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Brew Your Mind Clips.
That's the one.
That's it.
That's where we're going to drop some spicy clips for you guys to listen to and look at our faces.
Yeah, just going through each one and breaking down each, maybe 3 or 4 different subjects we might talk about, or, little mini topics, and just making it easier if people don't want to watch an hour long. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, it's Brew Your Mind Clips. And if you can't find it, it's on our main channel. You just click on our main channel, and they'll say other channels. And
that's right.
There it is. There it is, man.
And if you need any help, we'll help you out. What I got today, so we're recording so late because I went up to York, there was a little Viking festival up there, which I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. It wasn't all that. But I did buy this Valhalla coffee. It was in this pub. It's called Valhalla. It was super cool, but they had this coffee, so I went ahead and bought it. Just made a full pot. It's nearly 1 a.m. and almost poured it.
Almost poured it on yourself. I like that noise.
You know it's ASMR.
Pour that right into the mic.
Brew Your Mind. We're going to create another sub channel on YouTube where you can just listen to us. ASMR. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Cheers to you and everyone out there.
It's just black coffee, no oat milk, so you know it's not going to be an 11. But it is out of the Brew Your Mind mug. And you can get that at www.brewyourmindmerchandise.com.
Not is that
really,
real?
Not yet.
Oh, man.
But coffee's good.
I didn't even know.
Surprise, the merch site is up. No, coffee's good. It's coffee. It's tough to rate coffee. You know, I get what you're saying when you try to do that,
Yeah.
Especially as black coffee. I mean, the bag says dark chocolate, raisin, and stone fruits. So I can't taste any of that. I just taste coffee. And I like it. All right? Dude, I like it.
Nice job, dude. Nice job. I love that.
I'm here for you and the people. So before I start rambling about my week, because I felt like I had a lot going on, I'll let you go first. Tell me what's been new. Obviously, you already told a little bit that you're back on days, but what else you got, man?
back
Any
on the
crazy
day
dreams?
shift. No crazy dreams, man. I've been sleeping all right, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want to start off by addressing all the people that sent some nice messages to me, acknowledging the last episode. I felt like the last one was like super vulnerable, and I think both of us kind of, talked about some stuff. I don't know what happened. I just feel like I don't ever talk about those things in real life, and so it seems strange to bust open your darkest, whatever. Not even darkest, but some deep side on a podcast where a bunch of strangers could potentially
Yeah, I
listen
agree.
to your
And
life. So it was weird.
to add on to that, I appreciate everyone with all the kind words.
Yeah, big encouragement.
Yeah, I mean we had that topic of hardships, and we we're going to talk about that in general, and we end up diving deep into our personal lives. And you guys, seems like you guys enjoyed that a little bit, and we appreciate the good feedback. And it gave a chance to, I think, some people to relate to us a little bit. So that's all we want. So we really appreciate it. So what else you got?
Yeah, man, that's a good episode. It ain't going to be like that all the time. We can't be that serious and wide open all the time. All right, we got to get on here and be goofy every once in a while and talk about some wild stuff like Barbie dolls and dolphins. You know what I mean? We got to keep it lighthearted sometimes, talking about the sports. And by that, I also want to say I think we should take the nickname away from the Brewers, the Milwaukee. Did I get that right? Milwaukee?
Yeah, you're crushing right now.
Man, Wisconsin. Woo.
Yeah. Woo.
Milwaukee Brew Crew. We're gonna steal that name. We're gonna be calling that. We're gonna start this intro saying, "What's up, Brew Crew? What's up, Brewers?"
Yep.
That's what we are here. We're brewing our mind. You know what I'm saying? We're doing big things, much bigger than the Brewers are. They're doing playing sports.
Scoff. You guys are listening and watching us, so you guys are the Brew Crew. All right.
You said scoff.
Yeah, I did.
Oh man, I was about to take a sip of that coffee. I almost spit it out. I promise.
Hey, Scoff City here, nearly 1 a.m., and we just stay scoffing. So you also want to talk about you told me something. Okay, so Jesse and I are talking a lot more these days. Thanks podcast hashtag reunite. The thing with that though is we end up talking too much that it could take away from the show. But we did talk about a little earlier this week about you selling that pretty car of yours for something else. I want you to tell the people what's going on.
Well, I'm debating, man. I feel like, I don't know. I'm in like, I think I'm just analyzing everything in my life, and I'm like, I need to be disciplined about everything, and just analyze whatever. And so I've been thinking about selling my 2018 Jeep Cherokee. And, I don't even care if I break even at this point. I've only had it for almost 2 years. I love it, but I can't justify having a car payment for the next, 4 years or something. So I'm like, man, I could use that monthly money. I could use it for whatever, save it. And I'm debating on going back to the old, getting an old Jeep Cherokee like I had for 10 years, man. Because like I said, man, I miss that car. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Man, biggest mistake I think I ever did was get rid of that car.
I remember just cruising the streets with you in that car.
Yeah, man, should have kept that. Should have kept that. Then I got that Jeep Wrangler. I got a used Jeep Wrangler. I liked it, didn't love it. But then I got, some drunk person hit me up here, totaled it.
Jesse didn't get hurt, by the way.
No, I didn't get hurt. I was sitting at the red light, and she come up drunk behind me, just flying, going 40 miles per hour, hit me in the rear end.
I bet you that scared the hell out of you.
Wild. Oh yeah, I still get traumatic feelings. I look in my rearview mirror every time I'm at a stoplight now. But yeah, so that totaled my car, and then I think I made too quick of a decision. I was like, well, I don't know what to get, and I really liked the Cherokees, the new ones. So I was like, whatever, I'll get it, and I haven't really regretted it at all, to be honest. But I think just the whole moving here in the summer process and thinking about the future more, I don't know. I'm just like, man, I can't justify, because I still owe like $28,000 on it. That's insane.
Jeez, yeah.
For a car. I could run out and go buy a Jeep Cherokee, a used one that I know I'll like, $5,000, $6,000. I don't know. we're doing it. We're cutting it down, man. We've deleted Facebook. We've deleted Twitter. Now I'm about to delete that car payment. It's over. It's over for y'all.
Back to basic. Here we go. Hashtag B2B. That's what we're getting like here at BYM. Brew Your Mind.
Trimming the fat, man. Trimming the fat off our life. You know what I mean?
That's all you got to do. And you mentioned accident, and I'm going to go ahead and lead that into I get back. I'm going to skip ahead and go back. It's going to be a weird way of doing this, but Tuesday morning, I'm heading back to work, and it's the longest gate traffic that I've seen in a while going to work. Stop and go. Next thing I know, we're just cruising, and then we stop, and then while we're stopping, I was like, okay, this is a good time for me to reach down and get my water bottle that's too big for my cup holder in the middle. Whoops. It's actually down at the floorboard on the passenger side. So we're stopping. I'm about to reach for that, and I see them go. So I'm like, okay, I'll take my foot off the brake, and I'll start going. I grab that water bottle. I look back up, and I hit the back of a Volkswagen GTI, a car that's close to your heart, I think, Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, I did want one of those too.
Yeah. So it was like 5 miles per hour, but I couldn't believe it happened because, right when it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, my front end's ruined. Her bumper's a mess. I get out, and you can't even tell my car hit a car. And then we look at her car, and she's trying to point out little scratches, which I don't know if I really did that. But it worked out because she was also military, so I just gave her some insurance or not gave her some insurance, but told her my information, and she's taking care of all that. So hopefully it's nothing too bad. But a little fender bender after coming back from a 3-day, which I spent in Brussels.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, it's weird because Brussels and Belgium was like on the top of my list when I first moved here to see. Weirdly, I mean, I don't know why, but so I was pretty excited about this trip. Went with a good friend Dale, and we took the train out there. Pretty late train. I think we arrived about like 8:30 at night there, and we got an Airbnb because that's just all we do. No more hotels.
Did y'all cuddle?
That's later in the story. All right, no spoilers. But so we're walking to the Airbnb, and my first thought of Brussels was weird because out of the train station we had to walk through like a neighborhood where it felt like I didn't know where I was. I thought I was like in the Middle East or something like that. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just my first thought for Brussels was a little different. Anyway, so we're walking to the Airbnb. It's about a mile, so it's about 9:15, and the host is not there to give us the keys. And I have never had an Airbnb experience, a poor one, I should say. So I wasn't. This is something a little different. So we try to get a hold of him, and he ends up answering the phone like 9:30 now, and he's like, "Yeah, my friend's gonna come down and give you the keys, no problem." We wait another 15 minutes, nothing happens. We call back, and he's like, "Are the lights on upstairs?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Weird," because he's not answering my phone, so I'm thinking he's asleep up there. And we're like, "Okay, but now how are we gonna get in?" He said, "Just give it another 30 minutes, and we'll see what happens." It's 10:15 at night in a part of Brussels where I don't feel the most comfortable. And we're still waiting, and it's nothing. Call the dude back. He's like, "Just go get a hotel. I'll pay for it, yada, yada, yada." Anyways, we check into a hotel at like 11:30. Off to an awful start. But we get settled, go back out for some drinks, and then it's like maybe 1 a.m., and Dale realizes his phone is gone. And we believe someone swiped it.
No
so
way.
Man, what a crazy I mean, that ruined the night right there. Once he lost his phone, we were like, all right, we're just gonna crash. So we ended up choosing to stay at the hotel the rest of the weekend and not deal with Airbnb there. But man, Brussels
that sucks.
Yeah, and Brussels overall had nothing to offer. It was a really dirty city. Like I wouldn't. And there just wasn't too much to see. I mean, the best thing about it has my favorite beer there, Delirium. Absolutely love it. So that's what I spent most of my time doing, drinking Delirium. There's nothing else to really do.
You can do that at home.
Exactly. You could.
Nonsense.
And then the last day, our train didn't leave until late at night. So we were trying to stall. We didn't feel too Corabantic. Yeah, that was a good word. And we just,
what does that mean? Hold on. You can't go on. I heard that and I was like, is that a brand or something?
It's
what
a
is
brand
that?
new word. It's just like the manner of
man.
not being rushed. We're trying to expand. We're taking this week by week, people.
Corabandic.
Yeah, I know.
Corabandic.
I never heard it before, but so yeah, Brussels was meh. Here we are. And then what else happened? Last night I put an offer on a house in Florida. Really excited.
Whoa.
Went ahead and pulled the
Nice,
trigger.
dude.
So we'll see. We'll find out in about 2 days if we're going to be some kind of negotiating or anything like that. But super excited about that. Big things happening here on the
Big
podcast
things,
and also in our
dog.
personal lives. But we're not going to get personal with you every week. No, we're not.
I want to touch on the Airbnb. 'Cause me and Katie, when we went to Vancouver, we had a pretty awful experience with the Airbnb. I'm not really going to talk about it, but it was the same kind of ordeal when the guy was like supposed to give us the place and like he didn't answer the phone for a good hour, and we're just walking around Vancouver, it's snowing. It was just kind of miserable. It's like, man, come on, and parking in a city like that was weird, and I don't know. That's good. You just said something else. I was about to. Oh, you're putting on an offer in a house. I'm thinking about doing the same thing, man. I'm thinking about
Love
when
it.
I got to find out how long I'll potentially be living in Savannah, but I like Savannah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, man, even if I'm there for like 2 years, 3 years, I think I would want to maybe risk just throw in and buy a house, and if I sell it a few years later, and get
Then
close
you
to
make a little
breaking
money.
even, I don't know. But either way, it's like you start to calculate how much you throw away at a place on rent.
Yeah,
It's
that's
ridiculous.
the thing. You're not getting anything out of when you rent. I mean,
No.
Hopefully you get a security deposit back. Hopefully, more times than not.
Yeah,
you're
but
not
that's
getting the whole
chump
thing back.
change. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like
that's your own money.
I pay $1,300 a month here for a 2-bedroom. Like, this place isn't very big. There ain't no garage or nothing wild. $1,300, man, that's crazy money.
That seems like a lot.
year. Well, Anchorage is expensive, so
Yeah.
this is, I don't know.
Do you get a lot of
Kind
cola?
of. Cost of living allowance. Let's see. I think it's $500, $600 a month.
Okay, yeah, right about. I think that's right about when I get it.
It's expensive, man. I can't wait. Oh man, we're gonna get back down the south. We're gonna be like, man, everything is so cheap, but then we're gonna be making less money.
Exactly.
That's all right, man. So
Here we
what's
are.
on the agenda today? What's on the agenda? What's the main
Well, I
go
figured
to gumshoe?
We were just talking about a little bit. We're going to talk about nothing but our finances, people, and we're going to let you know about what's in our bank account. And no, I'm glad we kind of moved on. I hate talking about money. Money's stupid. But yeah, so Jesse and I, we have this shared document where we throw down notes for the week and whatnot. And what we have here are about 8 topics that we could pick from. And I probably did little to no research about any of them, because we're just going to do it on the fly. We're going to ramble about what comes to our mind. So
Yeah.
I think the first one, to kind of break the ice and maybe kind of set the tone that we're not going to be too serious this week compared to what we were last week. The first question is, what is something that everyone looks silly doing? Is there anything that comes to your mind when I ask that question? Because I already have one thought maybe in my head.
Man, walking through a spider web when you don't expect it. You're out there shadow boxing, doing some possessed demonic dance.
Yeah.
You're looking wild. No one knows what's going on. Is that dude on bath salts? What's he doing? Trying to conjure up a spirit? Doing some type of ancestral rain dance? Solo edition? What's he
Rain
trying to
dances
tell me?
Those don't work well by themselves either. You got to have a group of people. You can't be solo doing it.
Everybody knows that.
It's common knowledge.
Common
man.
knowledge, dude.
No, but do you freak out too when you walk through like a spider web too, right?
Man, no. I welcome that.
Love that. More spider webs towards Jesse, everybody.
What's the one you were thinking of? Everyone looks silly.
I think is it the pre-sneeze face?
Yeah, that sucks. Yawning too.
Give the camera your pre-sneeze face real quick.
Dude, I don't have one.
I just did. It was embarrassing.
Oh,
We're
man.
gonna skip that from the. Hey, go check out the YouTube channel if you want to see my embarrassing face. Ha. what there was another one that man. See, this is why we should do research before, because now I'm just filling in dead space with.
Well,
names.
I saw another thing you put in the notes was like some kind of random fact of the day or something.
Yeah. You have a ridiculous fact.
I you know what? I like to get on that Reddit, that subreddit. Today I learned that's a wild place, man. You get on there, you be learning everything about up, down, left, and right. Cheat codes be on there for life.
Okay. I see what you did there.
No, man. How about I just open it up and we go to the top of it and we see what the first one is.
I love it.
You want to see? All right.
Yep.
First one. Today I learned in 2006. Muggers accosted magician David Copperfield, who promptly turned all of his pockets empty, despite carrying his wallet, cell phone, and passport. That's when magic comes in handy, right there.
True.
That one time in your life where you get mugged and you're like, I ain't got nothing on me, and then somehow he, that's some fancy moves right there, dude.
I'm trying to think would there be a more convenient time that magic could come in handy?
Nah, not at all.
Is that peak right there?
Dudes that are into magic are like that weird, strange kind of feeling. Like, you get around them and I think remember that one dude, we knew one dude that was into magic and doing sleight of hand stuff. And it's like,
shout
cool.
out Nick.
Yeah, but then it's kind of like this weird vibe. Like it's hard to describe. It's almost like a guy that walks in the room wearing a cowboy hat and a belt buckle. Yep. You're like, okay, or like a horse girl, or or a guy who wears lots of rings. You can't really describe it, but there's something that's ringer. Like, yeah,
I think it just depends on the situation. If magic is magic cool in general? Do you find it cool?
No, not really. Until I'm there in person, I'm like, that's sick.
Or you've had too much to drink and people do magic tricks for you.
That's true.
Then everything's amazing. Like, you did what?
I don't know.
How'd you know that was my card?
I can't describe why I don't like it. It's hard. It's just like it's kind of corny, I think. I don't know.
I wonder, the thought of it. I mean, if I watch on America's Got Talent, you see some sleight of hand stuff. You're like, and every time you're like, oh, how does he do that? And it's mind-boggling. But I don't know. I find interest in it a little bit, but it can be a bit of overkill, especially if you got someone that's like trying really, really hard. You're like, this is kind of cringe. But yeah, what else you got? Reddit?
Man, what else you got? Oh, you want another one off the Reddit?
Side note, I got some traditional mead today as well. I never had it, so I'll go ahead and open it up while you talk.
Mead.
Man,
you sound like
mead. Sweet and delicious with rich, deep honey flavors. I never had it.
Your life sounds wild living over there, dude. You just texted me going to York. You know what I mean? To go to some Viking festival.
Dude, it was the longest day.
Now you're drinking mead.
I gotta be different. Let me be different.
Man.
Just wait until we're together in the Southeast.
That sounds made up, dude.
That's why I stopped my recording, so you couldn't tell I'm not lying.
I found this cool little app. Well, actually, someone told me about it one time. It's called Card Decks. And what it is, it's just an app. It's got a bunch of questions that typically I think you talk to with your significant other. Mm-hmm. Some of them get pretty wild about some sex type things. The crazy.
Do you want to do that right now, me and you?
Dude,
do
no.
Do this card?
I clicked on this. It's got a bunch of different blocks of different categories. Mm-hmm. And, some is like open-ended questions, and some are like sex questions to ask a man, and then sex questions to ask a woman. And I clicked on, I don't know, I think the man one. Dude, it opened my eyes to some wild stuff out there.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know.
Welcome to Brew Your Mind After Dark.
Brew Your
where we talk about sex questions and only sex questions. We are accepting all sex questions from all you listeners.
I'm not reading any of these, by the way. No way. Good. We're not taking there.
Let's keep it PG.
It just made me super aware of how, I don't know. the world. Some people are into some wild stuff, man.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that, but that's definitely the truth.
Basic as ever. But I want to use this app.
Okay.
I want to use this app to kind of find maybe a question we could go through. I went through some that seemed pretty good. So I'm just going to go through the open-ended questions one and see where we go from there, because those seem pretty, in general, kind of fun to ask. But before I do that, I want to say I found this YouTube channel because I was talking about
You
how
just found a bunch this week.
I found this one YouTube channel, and it's this dude. He just goes around to conventions, like the Flat Earth conventions, and he goes to like just Talladega for, race speedway, just to talk to people. Just goes to some of these little festivals and stuff. Oh my God, dude. It's insane to see how wild people can be, especially with the Flat Earth one. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know what to say. I was just saying it just kind of related. What was it? I think it's called, I can't remember the YouTube channel. Dang it.
Embarrassing.
I'll find it and I'll put it in the description.
Do it. Love it.
Hey, here's a question.
Okay.
What were the highlights and lowlights of your adolescence? You got anything for that? Smart man. Coming up. I feel like your highlights back then, you was probably like a sports hero. Do you think so?
I don't know. Like, I was on the B team for basketball until like high school.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like I didn't hit my stride in sports until high school, really. Like up until then, I was I was the kid that wore glasses, and they're like, this guy wears glasses, he can't be good at sports, he sucks. And I finally wore contacts, and I'm a changed man.
Then all of a sudden they're like, hey man, A team.
Hey, you look like a handsome young fella.
Yeah.
Man, you already got an answer in your head while I think?
Highlights?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any lowlights of my adolescence. I don't know. Man, I don't know. I feel like the highlights, let's see. First thing that comes to mind was I was in the high school marching band.
That's right, you were.
Yeah.
Drumline.
Yeah, I was on the drum line, dude, and then
like the movie.
I remember that was like the biggest epiphany of my life was figuring out I was good at something, Like exceptionally good at it at a young age. It was just, like the high school band when I was in, I think, junior high. They would, play their little drum cadences and stuff, and I would just I'd hear it and I'd just know how to play it. And well, not all of it, but and then I got up there and I was playing like the bass drum after the football game, and the band director was like, "Who is this kid?" And my mom was a teacher, and she was like, "Oh," she's like, "That's my son." And and then band director recruited me. So then that was probably the highlight, figuring out like because of her, she was like, "How do you know how to do that?"
I'm still floored to this
fun.
day. Like I remember at Keesler, and then in Mississippi, and also in Illinois, when you'd listen to a music or a song, you just go with it. I think it was on the drums and the guitars. I was just like, yeah, I guess that's learning by ear or whatever, and that's something I cannot do at all. But I think that's something incredible, and I'm still like,
well,
really jelly of you.
Nah, man, it's like it's old news. It's nothing. But then when I get out there, we're playing ultimate frisbee. I see you jump 10 feet up in the air, and I'm gonna jump half a foot. I get that same feeling,
The bunnies, man. But new news is I picked up the piano again this week. I'm trying to get that going, because I'm trying to get some kind of music flowing in my veins.
Yeah, dude.
And not just be some jockhead,
Plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
You know what I'm saying?
What other question you got? Because my highlight, I guess it's the sports is the easy answer. I mean,
yeah, man.
It's
I feel like we know what your low light probably is, where we talked about it last week. And if you want to know our low lights of our life,
I love that plug.
Go listen to the
episode.
Go to the episode before this one, episode 22, and just jump right into it. All right.
Another judge-free zone.
Another open-ended question. Oh, this one's cool. There's some of these that aren't that cool, but this one, if you could wake up tomorrow with 3 new skills in which you excelled, what would they be and why?
Number one is musically talented for sure. I just talked about it.
Yeah.
And like that's something I always thought about throughout my life, especially when I realized like I'm not gonna be able to do much with sports after high school. Is I wish that I could have traded in all that like the sports love and just being so into that for like pouring all that dedication into the music field and just excelling in a certain instrument or something like that, because that's something that you can continue to do and continue to enjoy throughout your life. Obviously, you keep getting older, your body's not going to keep up. I can't play basketball every single week, if I'm 40-something years old, So I always thought about that. I thought it was interesting. And if I could go back, I would probably, because, in middle school, they were like, okay, here, pick an instrument, and you're going to play it this year for music class. And then I was just like, whatever, I'm not going to play a music instrument. I got something better to do or whatever. I was like that. Yeah. I was thinking like that already. Although something you may not know about me, Jesse, and everyone else listening, I was in the choir for a little bit.
Word?
A couple music competitions, a couple bronze and silver. I was a little alto. I took it pretty serious. And then I moved schools, and they looked at my last class schedule. They were like, oh, you're in choir. We're going to put you in choir here. So then I started choir in Texas, and that's when I was like, oh, this isn't good. I can't do this anymore.
Texas.
That's when they actually made me sing by myself, and that's when I realized I can't sing. So gave that up. But what about you? What kind of skills would you like to have?
Oh, dude, I wish I could just be exceptionally better at all these different instruments with music. I don't know what else. The first thing I would pick would be to sing insanely well. That would be pretty dope. Okay. To have that natural. Then, man, nothing else, because I just feel like I got everything else I want in life. You know what I mean?
You do. You're basically at the peak, man.
That's right, dude. I don't really know. What you doing over there? You drinking more of that coffee? No, that ale, that mead? Is that what that is?
I went to mead. I need to stop drinking coffee. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah, dude. See, I get that same thing when I get off that night shift and we're doing that in the morning here. I'm like, I'm drinking coffee for this. And then I'm like, oh, I can't sleep now.
The things you do for this podcast.
Dude, so I ain't going to ask any more of these open-ended questions yet. But what I want to know is...
You hate me.
So we live in some wildly different places. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of intrigue with people that live in Europe or from the States anyway. There's a lot of intrigue. The people that live in the UK, there's a for people that live in Alaska. So what I want to know is, do you have anything wildly unique that you've learned or liked or don't like about the culture there since you've lived there for almost 4 years? Is there anything that comes to the top of your head as being American is, it's kind of weird or...
That's a really good question.
Uncomfortable?
I think something I really like, and it kind of ties into Southern hospitality and down south, but everyone's just so polite over here when you go into a store or a cafe or anything like that. I don't think I can think of a bad experience that I've had, and maybe it's just because they end everything with love or I don't know. They're just so joyful. And I guess probably just depends where you go, but I really love that over here. Something negative for sure would have to be the parking situation is something I'm definitely not used to, or it took me forever to get used to. Cause in the United States, every little store, it could be the smallest store, it still has its designated parking to go to it. Right. Over here, it's more of a centralized parking garage or a car park that you have to park at and then walk to. And that took me a little bit to get used to, because then it's I don't really feel like doing that. So why should I even go? And then I got I was really lazy the first year here. Just no traveling, just wasn't into it. And then finally, I guess I it was a kind of a culture shock, but I wasn't expecting it to be because I was like, oh, they speak the same language as me, so how different should it actually be?
Yeah.
Well, it is different. It's definitely different. Like, for instance, instead of me saying, how are you? You know, like a common thing that we say in the States, just because, I mean, we really don't care how you're doing in the States. They'd rather just be like, you all right? That kind of thing, and just going with it. And that took a little bit to get used to because I'll say, how are you? And they're like, what? What are you talking about? What, you actually want to know how I'm doing? That kind of thing. It's like
Get away
actual
from me.
serious conversation. Yeah, it's stranger danger. But yeah, that's what I can think of. But kind of going back to you, like how different is Alaska compared to the United States in general? Does it seem like it's actually like a different country, or do you feel like you're still in the States in a way, or expand from that a little bit?
Well, it feels, I feel like my standards are probably, I'm a little bit more critical, I think, on how people are, strangers, how they treat each other, because I'm from the South. And I'm from a really small town of, where everyone makes small talk, whether you really know them or not, or people just are overly friendly and, to me, those types of interactions kind of make my day way better. Like when you're at a grocery store and just randomly some older lady starts talking to you about something. I just find it so sweet. It warms my heart. And some people,
I love when older ladies ask me to come, like they see me and they're like, "Hey, can you grab that off the top shelf for me?"
Yeah.
I know you get asked this all the time, but can you please? I'm like, I will gladly do this for you. And then it brings so much joy. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I know I like doing that too. I like that guy.
I really like it
because we're tall. But yeah. So I feel like people here. I think my impression was, I don't know why. I guess it's just a northern climate or something, but it generally feels like people are not quite as warm here. And I just miss that type of thing, that kind of southern stereotype, that hospitality thing, But I guess I've gotten so used to it now here that I don't really think about it too much. But some of the, I guess I don't mean to talk about negatives, but the wildlife here to me is kind of a freaky negative to me. So, like, it's either moose or bear you got to worry about. Just with jogging or going hiking you hear at least maybe a story or two in the Anchorage area. Someone getting mauled by a bear, just like taking their trash out or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's something to be crazy afraid of because I think most bears are skittish and, but there's thousands of people up here, so I guess it's bound to happen to one person. I don't know, but it freaks me out going jogging or something. Or moose is a big thing. That's like people, if you're not familiar, like moose are, they'll charge you and stuff like that. They don't run off like a deer, or something like that. They're usually just pretty calm, or they will charge you or fake you out. I had one fake me out one time. It was great. It was right next to my door at my old apartment, so I had to get in the door. And I was like, well, and I had like 2 drinks, so I was feeling a little loose, and I was like, I can make it.
Loosey-goosey.
And I got right up to the door, and it gave me this nice little fake charge. The thing was huge. It was a female one. Freaked me out, man. But
that's crazy. And it's like completely opposite over here. Like, there are no predators over here whatsoever.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely nothing to worry about. And then over there, you're worried about just meese. That's plural for moose, by the way, like goose, geese. You're worried about those and bears. I don't know. I never had to worry about such things, so it's just kind of mind-boggling for me to think about. That's something that you'd have to worry about.
I don't know. I'm ready to be kind of done with it, but at the same time, it's also a huge, pros and cons. It's a very cool thing about this state is how untouched a lot of it feels. There's only like one main highway that goes up north or down south. There's no like different ways to go. There's only 2 ways out of town, pretty much, and so it's kind of cool. Once you get out of Anchorage, it's like this is by far the most populated. I would think this is really the only city, that has all the main, kind of chains and stuff. But I don't know. Alaska's cool because it's all the nature and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Do you think before you move there? Do you think, or now that you know, do you think it's a place more suited to visit or live?
Well, it's one of those places people love it, or absolutely love it, or absolutely hate it. I rarely find someone who's in the middle, and I'm probably more on the negative side.
Okay.
Kind of like I could have been.
Have you been negative the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't like the cold and the dark, and the winter lasts for so long, and the summer's great because it gets like 60, 70 degrees. Nothing, it's
weather.
like it's chill, but and it's sunny. But man, it's just too much of a roller coaster. It's like super bright in the summer, super dark. That affects you, man. Especially when you're on night shift over winter when it's dark. Man, yesterday was the first time I've seen the sun. I don't know when. I guess since me
3
and
damn days.
Yeah, since me and Katie left town, went to like Seattle, but that's rough, dude. I don't know, but I'm always interested because sometimes I hear the stereotype of what other people, Europeans or anyone, think of Americans, but I kind of love the stereotypes because it's like they're either loud, dumb, super confident, and super friendly, which is like that sounds about right, Yeah. But I don't really hate it. But have you had any locals have you ever had a conversation about those type of things or like stuff like that?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, thankfully, I moved to a neighborhood that's just been like nothing but friendly neighbors. They know what I do, and it's the type like I get out of my car, they get out of the car at the same time. They like to engage in conversation, and if it's with a British person, more times than not, the first sentence is something to do with the weather. That's like the go-to opener.
Yeah.
And I think this would be a good this would be a good subject to talk about with Liam, our British friend. I know he listens here and there, and I know when I met him through playing games online, we would always talk about like the stereotypes of Americans and how he thought we were, and then he got to meet me, and it was a little bit different, I guess. And then the same for him, living up towards Liverpool, those kind of British folk. And that's also something that opened my eyes too when I moved over here. It is just like the States that it depends on the region that they're from, that you're getting like a completely different British person.
Yeah.
And when I first moved here, I thought like they're kind of all the same. You got the Scottish folks up at the top and British down, and that's that. And I think they know for the States, we got the Southern folk and we got the Northern folk and that kind of thing. So that kind of opened my eyes up a little bit. You asked me a question and I kind of forgot what the answer was going to be.
I forgot anyway. I forgot what I asked you. In general,
I haven't had any anything really brought to my attention about like that stereotype that that us Americans have, kind of thing. And I know we got some UK people that actually listen to this podcast too. So if there's anything that you guys can think about and come to your mind and you'd like us to talk about, I'm all for it.
I kind of feel like it's interesting to think about because in the age of the internet, you ever feel like with a lot of sometimes I feel like with a lot of the younger generation, sometimes it seems like the microcultures of the States, like there's it's like everything kind of the states in general all kind of bleed together a lot more now as far as like trends are all uniform across the states for the most part, because you have all these things that people can see now, or like a lot of the way people dress, a lot of the way people, even accents, even like traditions, I think are kind of, it seems like sometimes maybe they're being lost because like, whereas before you have, all these different, which is good and bad, by the way. I think that's good and bad. But it's like I feel like before a lot of the internet and social media and stuff, you'd probably have a lot greater of a contrast in the States of seeing different cultures and things like that. if that makes sense. But it's also kind of good that things can be shared so much, and there's so much. Everyone can see how the cultures are, I guess, but it can I feel like so for like instance, like political views, I feel like there's a lot less of a typical, like there's a lot less of a contrast between regions now. I think I think there's a lot more of less radical, like from the south to the north, than it used to be because of
Yeah, you used to
the
be
internet.
able to. Oh, that state's going to be this color,
Yeah,
and now it's a little bit different.
yeah, or I think a lot of people think the southern states is a lot, is a lot of racism and whatever. You think people that are from Montana are so disconnected, because no one lives there. It's like really Wyoming. There's not a lot of population, but I don't know. And in Alaska as well. You think, that's a good example. When I moved here, I felt like you would expect people to be a little bit like out there on the edge of the world in their own place, Alaska, Anchorage. So I thought, moving here, some people would be, I could tell a little bit of a difference is like, you watch some of those TV shows that just show the extreme of the region, like the Alaska and Bush people, and they're definitely some kind of stereotype, or like they'll have the shows where they'll follow around some hillbilly family in the hills in Tennessee, or moonshiners, and so people start to paint this picture like, man, people around that region are all this way, but I don't know, not at all anymore. I came here thinking that people would probably be everyone dressed like they're super outdoorsy all the time, but then there's actual.
It's not the case, right?
Yeah, not the case at all. You kind of just move here, and you're like, there's still just as much of a plugged in, quote unquote, relevant type of person here that's knows everything about anywhere else, in anyone in California, any young person, stuff like that. So it's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Is it interesting?
It's interesting to think about.
I'm just rambling on, dude. I'm just rambling on. I feel like I'm out of my mind right now. I'm out of my mind right now, dude. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Trying to adjust to this day shift life, dude.
Have you fully adjusted?
No, I can feel it right now. I feel like in my bones I should be asleep. You know what I mean?
No, that's not right.
It's like
that's
an agitating
normal
feeling. I don't know, dude. I don't know what to do about it. It's awful.
Okay.
It's awful outside. It's snowing.
You got like 6 months, right? 6 months.
6 months, man. We're out of here. That's crazy.
It's a campaign, man. We got to continue to grind.
Kind of sad.
Dude, I watched Dunkirk today on the bus to York. Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I did.
Man, so good. What a great perspective. And I think the best part about it was the music that went with, like the soundtrack that went with it. Like there wasn't even that many words said, but man, it's not too often where I actually like really enjoy a movie. I like that. That's why here we are.
I want to watch that 1917 movie.
Ooh, I want to see that as well.
I keep hearing that's good.
I want to see that as well. What about that boxing match tonight, huh?
Boxing.
Wilder versus Fury?
Oh, you know what? Shout out to Kyle Chambers, who won the mug. He texted me, asked me to come over and watch the fight.
You gonna do it?
Probably not. Sorry, Kyle.
Oh, Kyle, here's a shot. Don't respond to him so he finds out this way when it drops on Monday why you didn't go. Tell him why you're not going to go right now.
Well, he said at 5, and it's already 4:20 right now. Shout out to 420. You know what I'm saying?
420.
I'm texting Kyle back right now. Kyle, if you're listening, I'm texting you right now. I hope you listen to this whole thing.
This is what the show's for right now.
Hey, you know what?
Make this happen.
I know everyone. You know, we just came back. We just came off last week being like a super tight. Probably kept you engaged the whole time. But I also want to say that it's enjoyable to just come on this and be casual with you, Justin, like this
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
now. Because I have found, since we've been doing this, it takes a lot of mental planning when it's just, you don't have a team working with this. So, when you're at work all week doing whatever, your life stuff, it takes a lot of mental planning to come up with a good subject, to also make sure you can talk about the subject.
Naturally.
So you're not keeping you want to entertain people, keep people listening, stuff like that. But it takes a lot of work, I found out. So I props to people that do multiple podcasts a week.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Hey, we're gonna get there eventually, but we're gonna have a team. We're gonna build a team too. We're gonna have a brew crew. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna snowball. And see, Jesse and I are BFFs. So we don't get to talk via voice ever.
Nah.
Except through this podcast. So that's why it seems like we're bouncing all over the place, because we have so many thoughts popping in our head and so many different little things that we talked about via chat throughout the week, and we're like, oh, gotta mention this, gotta mention that. And you guys aren't necessarily listening to actually hear what we're talking about. You're listening to hear our voices and to hear the random chemistry that him and I have. And that's what we're going to provide week in and week out. At least that. And maybe more.
I got to talk about something interesting. I got into a conversation with Katie. Ooh. As you know, I know you don't watch it, but we watched The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. I knew it was coming.
There was an interesting scenario that came up. So I'll give you a rundown for anyone who hasn't watched the past few seasons or whatever. Or actually, they're just the past two. That's all you need to know. So this last season was The Bachelorette, right? So it had this girl that was the main focus. Hannah Brown or something. She's from Alabama. Super Southern.
What an Alabama name.
Yeah, Hannah Brown. Well, all right. So there was this dude on there named Luke P., right? This dude was kind of like your stereotypical kind of alpha male, but super Christian. And, well, there came a point, I think he got all the way to like the Final Four or something. I don't know. Pretty far, right? Well, he's controversial, whatever. But the main point I want to talk about was that there was a certain point where in the show they get to the honeymoon suites or something like that, which is basically like the quote unquote part of it where the bachelor or bachelorette, they sleep with whoever, multiple people. It's kind of trashy, but it's so normalized on the show, it freaks me out. I'm like, how is this a thing? Anyway, this dude, Luke P., he's a very religious dude. Apparently, that's how they sold it on the show. So he said to her, Hannah, he said to her, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. And if you choose to sleep with someone else, I'm going to have a problem with it. He delivered it in some way like that. Mm-hmm. And, from my point of view, I get what he was saying. I get that he was like, this is going to like, if we do actually get married, like, and I'm the last one, and we start our relationship off with me knowing that you slept with like two other dudes or three, that's going to like really mentally, kind of mess me up. It's going to start our whole thing off bad, from a moral kind of thing from his point of view, Christian and all this. And so I was like, all right. So then it turned into this kind of thing where it was almost like the girl was like immediately like, how dare you tell me what to do with my body? And it kind of felt like I hate saying this word, but a feminist type of thing. That's such a charged word to say because it sounds like I'm
very
saying
charged up.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm saying it like negatively, but it came from this like the show kind of spun it like of course, mostly women I think watch a show, so there's probably a bunch of them like, hell yeah, tell that trash dude, he can't tell you what to do. You're a strong woman. It's like, all right. So he gets cut from the show, and then at the end they bring all the contestants back, and he gets up there on the stage in front of a live audience and talking to Hannah, and all these people are like destroyed him for being controlling and manipulative and all this stuff. I kind of felt bad for the dude because I was like, all right, well, you know what you signed up for being on the show, right? You know this happens. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it does make sense. I think that would like kind of sabotage the relationship from the get-go if you were to get married. So anyway, the new season. Fast forward to new season. We got some girl on here, pretty as can be, whatever. And then this new season or this new episode's talking about she's a virgin, and he doesn't know that yet. You know, the bachelor guy. And she gives him, they're at the same stage where they're at the honeymoon suites. So she gives him an ultimatum. Well, we'll find out. But what it looks like is an ultimatum. Like, you can't have sex with these other girls or it's going to ruin whatever. Now I'm thinking, I told Katie, I was like, I hope all these women and these people tear apart this girl like they did Luke. And then she kind of took it in the wrong way, like I was trying to attack a woman. But I was just like, it's just interesting to me when we're talking about equality, like, where do we stop? Because, like, if you want it, like, then shouldn't they destroy it? Because this girl's, like, Christian, too. So shouldn't they just equally destroy her? I want to see it happen. Personally, I wouldn't destroy that because I don't necessarily always agree that there's equality. You know, I think if a girl's punching me in the face, I'm not going to punch her back. If a guy punches me in the face, of course I'm going to punch back.
Yeah.
You know, it's a no-brainer. But it's just some of these things I'm like, where do we how do we make it all across the board equal? You know, do we just demolish this girl on The Bachelor because she's like, I'm a virgin and I don't want you sleeping with no one else? I think that's fair for her. For anyone to say at that point, be like, look, if you really want to be with me, like, we can't continue this. Me knowing that this is on TV and everyone's like, yeah, I saw that season with you and your husband and he slept with like 3 other girls. You know, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's a stupid show and it's not real, but it's just an interesting thought. We was just talking about it and I was like, where do we stop for equality? Of course, you can't ever argue to me. I still don't think a woman should be punched in the face. Like, maybe pushed off if they're being crazy and, like, keep punching you. Like, just push them off. End it. But, you know, don't give it your full strength. That's crazy. Because there are some obvious physical differences between men and women.
Yeah.
But, you know,
regardless how you feel, I need you guys to all come back to us next week as we break down The Bachelor some more and finish the episode up like that. We're here with Bachelor Talk. I'm Justin. He's Jesse. We talk everything Bachelor, all things Bachelor, and we know everything about it. All right, so I'm gonna watch the next episode, and we're gonna dive deep. Next episode will be nothing but The Bachelor, and you guys will enjoy it. We'll shut it down after that talk because we dive into that anymore. It's gonna be a 2-hour episode.
That's true. I can get going.
And don't get me wrong, I could do 2-hour episodes, but I'm just saying,
the
show's not coming out. Show's not coming out on Monday because it's going to take about a whole day for my stuff to upload to Dropbox. You know what I'm saying? The videos to render.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that. We're gonna close it up, and we're gonna close it up the new way that we're doing. Jesse, I know you're prepared. You got a brain teaser for me. What do you got?
Oh, I got a brain teaser.
He's got a brain teaser for me because we alternate every week. Like I mentioned last week. And while you're pulling up the brain teaser that you have prepared, I'll mention that the one last week, I think I asked, what can you hold with no hands or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. And Jared, shout out to you, my man. I put that on the Instagram, which if you guys are not following, it's Brew Your Mind Pod. I put that on there and he said, your bladder. And I was like, that actually works. It actually makes sense. So thank you, Jared, for thinking outside the box. We need that here at Brew Your Mind. So, Jesse, go ahead. Go ahead with your brain teaser. I know you got to go through the notes that you have. Written down.
I got one. I think I'm just trying to see how I should okay. No, that's not a good one, is it? Okay.
You probably wrote down a few, yeah.
Okay. Upon taking his car to a hotel, a man immediately declares bankruptcy. What's the reasoning? Hotel. He takes his car to a hotel and he immediately declares bankruptcy. Why?
Giving the listeners time to think about the answer. I don't think I have an answer, but all I can think about is Michael Scott shredding up his credit cards and declaring bankruptcy. That's all I can think about right now.
Man.
But what do you got? What do you got?
He's playing Monopoly.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he's playing Monopoly. All right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I definitely had that prepared. I didn't just look that up on my phone right now.
No, not at all. I could tell.
My bad.
So cool. Well, no, what are you talking about? You had it ready. So that's how we end it. Jesse, you got anything else? You got anything going on this week? Anything else you want to mention to anyone?
Let me see here. No, I don't think so. I just want to mention again, if you want to watch this on YouTube, it is Brew Your Mind Pod, all one word. Same as our Instagram. And if you want to see clips of sections, I don't know what will be pulled out of this one.
Whew.
I don't know. But if you want to see that, it's Brew Your Mind Clips. I don't think that's one word. I think Brew Your Mind is one word and then space clips. I should have made them consistent, shouldn't I? I can change the name later.
Yeah, you can change it, and then we'll throw it in the description.
Yeah.
Of this episode.
That's it, dude.
Cool. Love it. Thank you guys for joining us. Brew Your Mind after dark. I couldn't be serious. No, seriously, thanks guys for listening. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. For him, Jesse. For me, Justin. Hope you guys have a great week. And don't forget to brew your mind.
See you guys.
With the whisper.